distress, perhaps just being evacuated at this time, and possibly some distance from where this active shooter may be. Nick, it's a considerable area that's blocked off. I know we have another news crew at another point in the police perimeter. So in terms of any sort of square mileage or number of streets, I can't quantify that. But now we are seeing that they're allowing this ambulance to get through. Periodically, we've had emergency vehicles come through the police line here where the media is being required to stage. But
for those of you just joining us here, welcome to News Now. Following the story out of Middleton, Wisconsin right now, where reports there a shooting happened at a business complex. Still no word yet from officials here, and you can see local media on the scene right now. And once we get some more information, we'll pass that along to you. If we get a news conference, we'll bring that to you as well.
Nick, from our vantage point, we can't see entry and exit from any of the stores at the mall. But I will repeat, just a couple of moments ago, we had a group of possibly 20 to 25 people who just walked across John Hammond's Drive at Deming Way. They may have been evacuating a building or a parking lot. There wasn't an urgency to their exit, but they suddenly appeared, and they're beyond the police line here. We do see officers staging. Again, I'll repeat, the indications are that if this active shooter is still at large, this may be at or near Esker Corporation on Deming Way. There's a significant disruption to any sort of a travel, and I would think law enforcement is encouraging people, unless they have a specific need to be here in response to this, to stay away.
Copy.
All three, when you get somebody available from Middleton, can they meet me in the back parking lot so I can assign them to the other officer so I can head back in?
Okay, I got 09 going your way.
Thanks. Back parking lot employee.
And that guy was telling me that he had seen why all the people are surrounding.
Okay.
So he almost thinks that maybe the victim ran from the building and just plopped down on the sidewalk, but.
And they're gonna take us live on like a live feed on Facebook. So
okay.
The anchors will say something. It's being streamed right now, and so.
Okay, I think they're going to come back, Bryce.
I'm going to give an update, and then I'll ask you to kind of come over and explain what you've been hearing.
Or do you think I should just stay? Stand by.
Caroline, I can confirm what you were mentioning, you and Nick mentioning a couple of moments ago in the broadcast. There are, I would say, perhaps 3 or 4 dozen law enforcement vehicles, both Dane County Sheriff, Middleton Police, and Madison Police. There's a host of ambulances. Some are staged over here. You had mentioned Johnny's Italian Steakhouse. We are a stone's throw from the steakhouse, and as you pointed out, they're being asked to shelter in place. I'm going to have Bryce again show you the outside of the service entrance to the Greenway Station Mall, and I believe reporter Michelle Alfini is heading to the mall to find out if people are being asked to shelter in place there as well. But as you're seeing from our video, there are people who have come from the mall area out here to see what may be going on. I think what was most significant here in the last 10 minutes is that we did see a group of perhaps 20 to 25 people who were beyond the police line, walking out of a parking lot and then continuing across John Hammond's Drive. They did not seem to be urgent, but they are beyond the police line where we are. Perhaps they were being evacuated from a building nearby. But this is a very tense environment here on Denny Way.
5502.
Police car to gain entry. In fact, we've frequently seen police and ambulances coming through here, but we've yet to get a report as to whether there have been any injuries as the result of the presence of what law enforcement is saying, an active shooter. There have been indications
right. As
that
you
active
said,
shooter
we don't know the
may be
status
at
of the
near
suspect or if there are any victims, but I have seen at least 3 ambulances picking people up in that general area and driving quickly out of this
Oh, 309, your ETA.
station. So a heavily trafficked
Coming up from the south in the back parking lot right now.
Here right now, if the suspect is in custody,
Number 6.
we are seeing at least 50 cop cars. We're talking Sheriff, Madison Police, Middleton,
5501.
also FBI. About 15 or so minutes ago, we did see snipers in the area. I'm not seeing any right now, but as you can see, we have been pushed back significantly from our original spot, which tells us that this is still a very active situation. I spoke to one woman who said that her friend works inside one of those 2 buildings and actually tells me that that friend called 911 when she saw someone with a gunshot wound running out of
5501.
So we are hearing reports of injuries right now, and we do have News 3's Josh Sprider with us as well, and Josh has been kind of gathering witness statements. And Josh, what are you hearing from people?
Yeah, I spoke to a couple of witnesses, and one tells me that he was actually out on his morning walk, coming down the sidewalk when he saw a victim sitting there on the sidewalk, and after that, that's when he saw at least 60 people walking
5502.
BTS Paradigm building, if I'm saying that correctly. He said it was very
Oh, 2, go ahead.
They all came out with their hands up.
Do we want DCI to come to the PD or to the scene?
See all the active, the police officers back in that area.
Start by going to command. Go to incident command at 01's location. And if I can get any Middleton officers that are available to the residence then, I need help with getting names and interviews going here. I've only got 2 here so far.
Their loved ones are okay.
Copy. DCI is going to go to the command post and available Middleton officers, especially those checking in to the residence.
So close to Greenway Station, a shopping center a lot of people know about. DSW, Tuesday morning, World Cost Market. A lot of people standing around. A lot of people also here were earlier and told me, you know, I don't feel safe here any longer. I'm going to go back inside. Obviously, that is the smart thing to do.
I need to know when the building is clear. We got a bunch of ambulances on standby. They need to clear, and they need to know when that is cleared.
Just to recap, no reports of injuries.
We'll need to know that as well. 5502.
We have seen several ambulances leaving this area
go ahead.
with their sirens on, probably trying to get people.
Can you advise as soon as the building is clear so that the ambulances can clear and then we can advise callers?
Copy. I'll be waiting for that sign from 03 also.
Well, they have been so busy, Susan, working really hard. We did try to ask, hey, what can you tell us? And they said, you know, ma'am, we're really busy right now. They've been rolling the tape, pushing us back, very focused on what is going on right there, focused on the people in that area. So no updates from them here, but lots of witness accounts of a shooter, lots of witness accounts of people running who were injured. Josh, anything that you've heard from authorities?
No, so far they've just been kind of keeping us back away from the scene. You can tell obviously there's still a very urgent situation, but they're keeping everyone back. As we were saying, there's been a lot of people standing by here wondering what's going on. But yeah, you were rushed back during our broadcast a little bit earlier, so they are keeping people away, which seems to believe that obviously it's still a very urgent situation out here.
And Susan, you were saying something? There are, and then there's also an apartment or condominium, so lots of people in this area. I haven't seen anyone come out of these hotels.
There have been a few people. I did see a few people, a couple dozen of them come out, and the witnesses were saying that they were working to evacuate some of those people, but obviously trying to make sure it's okay for them to come out of the building, because again, we don't know
5501.
Police haven't told us.
Absolutely. 5501.
ETA for DCI in 10 and 15 at command post.
10-4, and I've got DCI agent here now. Are all the officers involved in the shooting back at the PD?
34 to 01, almost there.
10-4, is there a sheriff's deputy also?
Oh, one, I don't know the answer to the sheriff's deputy here yet.
10-4.
Going on some distance away, but again, there's a number of people here who are circulating.
5501 to 02.
Shelter in place.
02 bad.
It's
How close are you to being completed with the search? The reason I ask is fire and paramedics would like to meet up with you and have crews with you while you do your search in case you find somebody else down.
Found, contacted, apprehended.
I'm not in the building, and I'm not involved with the search. I'm at the residence inn trying to coordinate getting rid of the building occupants, identifying them and getting rid of them.
This is all evolving as we speak.
Sure. Okay, make that 03 then. 03, did you copy?
Again, I can tell you that...
I did not. I am working the command post inside. What do you need?
Gathering...
How close are you to completing your search of the building? And the reason I ask is fire and paramedics would like to join up with you in case you find any down people. They can render aid immediately.
They're in ambulances.
That is what I'm working with Madison and the Sheriff's Department right now. They have SWAT teams on the second story, so I'm thinking shortly we'll know.
We are collecting information.
Okay, but do you want paramedics to accompany the officers?
Not at this point. They're already clearing, so I'll have them stand by.
It's a challenge for authorities when they come into a situation like this. They don't know how widespread this is. They don't know exactly how far out they need to, put this crime scene take. As you mentioned earlier, they kept pushing us further and further back, not only for our safety, but to make sure they can, as we say, contain the scene.
5501, dispatch.
5501.
Okay, right now we're moving into CV1, which is also at the command post. To 03.
Good.
Okay, we got two paramedic teams that are going to stage up by that ambulance that's up by the building. If you need them, that's where they'll be.
Cover thing.
told him where I'm at. I texted him, but he didn't respond.
He's pretty, you know, he's pretty good. I think these are the people who...
Hey, can you guys come back to us? Can you guys come back to us? Can you come back to us?
Every time that I've talked to someone from law enforcement, you can tell that they obviously have a job to be doing.
Set up the camera.
I know that as much as
Nick and Caroline, we are still at the police line on Deming Way, and you're probably seeing right now video of a business called The Paradigm. There is a significant staging of law enforcement there. One eyewitness is reporting that there was even a stretcher in that area. There's an ambulance there. Again, we're not entirely sure if that's the center of how this incident evolved, but there is a fairly significant presence at the Paradigm just off John Hammond Drive and Deming Way.
5502, dispatch.
The whole area is
5502.
and many people have been told to shelter.
My understanding is Officer Salinas is en route. If you could direct him to go, before he comes to the residence inn, go to Terrace Avenue and Deming. We have a group of employees that were evacuated. I need him to go there, identify everybody, and get statements if they saw anything. Go there first, and when he's done there, come here.
5532, copy.
32, I copy that.
Michelle Alfini is trying to verify whether people are being told to shelter in place or evacuate the mall. We do not know that information right now, but Michelle Alfini may have an update for us shortly. But again, what you are seeing is The Paradigm is the name of the company, and there's significant attention being paid to that location here as police, as Caroline said, this massive law enforcement response on Deming Way. You know, at this point, you're seeing a little closer view than I am through the camera lens, but there was a report that there may have been a stretcher outside that building. Again, no law enforcement has confirmed any injuries as a result of this active shooter response. We are still collecting information, as is our news staff, but we do see fairly significant attention being paid to that building. There are just a score of law enforcement behind us and fanning out. So it's difficult at this point to pinpoint precisely where this active shooter situation may have first started. I do know that you've been reporting that an employee of the Esker Corporation related to you that they're sheltering in place. They are in the 800, and here comes law enforcement trying to get through here. We may help them if we can. I think we will.
5501, go.
So
the DA is on his way. Do you want to talk to him in the meantime on the phone?
I'm Deming Way, and back to the Esker Corporation.
I'm sorry, who's on the way?
That is in
the DA.
I don't know how much information would have been.
Negative, I already talked to him, but he can meet us in the command post.
Any specificity as to where this active shooter response started, but our initial indications that it was at that company. And again, right now we're showing you video of another business where there's significant attention being paid by law enforcement responders. Well, I guess it's a situation here where any business in this area, including the Hilton Garden Inn, which is within the police perimeter, Johnny's Italian Steakhouse, the Paradigm.
0301.
Our photographer, Bryce Gauger, is going to show a little bit more of the police response directly down Deming Way, where you see the most number of law enforcement vehicles, but a number of these businesses are affected. We did have one eyewitness report of a stretcher at the Paradigm. We do not know if that's in connection to any injury.
0301.
We've also received
go.
The active shooter situation.
When you get a chance, can you call me on my cell?
Corporation. We do have KWTV that there they're sheltering in place and unaware of anything beyond that. So, as we've been mentioning all along, this is a very fluid situation. We have new staff that's reaching out to the communications apparatus of both the Middleton Police and the Madison Police in an attempt to get more information, but you're looking at it right in our camera. This area is being treated as an active shooter zone. It's heavily cordoned off. Many law enforcement assets and several businesses, including the Paradigm, the focus of law enforcement attention. Matt, I got to ask you, somebody from the station has just got to be calling everybody on this. We are stuck here. We are stuck here. We don't have, if we're doing these live shots, I can't talk to anybody. And Michelle needs to check out the mall.
Is it okay?
Actually, folks,
Is there?
you guys could...
Hey, Matt, can you hear me? Matt, can you hear me? Matt, can you hear me?
Fully secure.
Hey, can you guys
ask
get
everyone to just
information
move
what the
back
Paradigm
slightly
is?
to the
Can
Tuesday
someone
morning
look that
lot?
up?
If we can have you guys move back. If you guys can just move back like a half a block to there, we'll have a statement.
Because we're all connected. We're connected to that.
Yeah, that tower. Again, if you can guys get out of that lot and just move back slightly.
Okay.
Again, we need to.
What is the reason? It's not clear. It's not
Right,
contained.
yeah, we're still.
Okay.
Our tactical element's still working in the building, so if we could have
Tactical
you.
elements. Okay. Is there anything else that people should know who are watching at home right now?
Is the shooter down? That again, I can't confirm at this point.
Get a
Again,
shot ready, Bryce, please.
any victims?
Okay.
Number of victims? That I don't know either. Okay. So again, I think they're still trying to confirm all of that. And until that part is done and that part is clear. Sure. Like I said, if we can get you all in the same area, then we give one statement to everybody all at once, and that information will come out at one time. Very good. So as soon as I have it.
Tuesday morning parking lot?
Yeah, Tuesday morning parking lot.
when
If you guys
that's
can set up,
gonna
I don't know, but I'll try to find out.
Okay.
Hopefully within a few minutes. Again, we have to, one thing at a time, we have to, again, finish the tactical portion of this operation, and then we'll be able to, as soon as we have information to release, we'll do it all at once to the media in that area, that parking lot of the Tuesday morning.
So Lieutenant, you want us to relocate?
Yeah, if that's all right, if you don't mind, just so we can have everybody in one staging area, so that when we come back,
3745 route Reddit citizens in.
10-4.
Anyone possibly hurt. Tony did mention that he did talk to someone, an eyewitness who did see a stretcher, but again, we cannot confirm just yet if that is directly related to this situation over on Deming Way.
Right, exactly. I mean, we do have such limited information right now. What we know exactly, as Caroline has been reiterating, is that there is a possible active shooter situation right there near the 1800 block of Deming Way. As you just saw in our live picture there, looking towards that area, you can see a very large police presence, ambulance presence there. All right, we're going to send it out right now back to Tony.
We're hearing a press conference right now from police.
To release, we'll do it all at once to the media in that area, that parking lot of the Tuesday
So,
morning.
so Lieutenant, you want us to relocate?
Yeah, if that's all right, if you don't mind, just so we can have everybody in one staging area, so that when we come back, we know where everybody is in terms of media. We can make one statement, give you the information at that time. Okay. And then I have to try to find everybody in the different locations.
Okay, and I Nick and Caroline, if I'm with you right now, we're just getting briefed by the Madison Police Department. We are right here by the cordoned off area here at the staging for this active shooter situation. What I can tell you, and we're going to walk over here beyond the police car, we'll be leaving this location shortly to another media staging area, but you're going to be able to see in a couple of moments I believe you're going to be able to see the Paradigm. The Paradigm, Bryce, if you can see if we can get a shot of the Paradigm. It's a software company here on Deming Way. I have now seen photographs of what appears to be distraught workers or visitors from that company exiting that building. Law enforcement is not confirmed as to where the active shooter situation began, but I can tell you I have now seen photographs of either employees or visitors or others obviously in distress, leaving that location, the Paradigm, a software company here just off of Deming Way, or perhaps on Deming Way here in Middleton. So we will have considerably more information in a short period of time, as the Madison Police Department is planning to stage a news briefing. But in order to do that, they want us to move to a different location. But again, what I can tell you is that I have seen photographs of what apparently were either distraught employees or visitors to the Paradigm, a software company here in Middleton that is perhaps a quarter mile away from us on Deming Way, and this active shooter response continues.
Okay, Tony, thank you for that update. We've also, I just went on Paradigm's website, and you know, Tony was mentioning it's a software company, and it does confirm that here, but it seems as though their website is down. So, you know, unclear if this is, again, related to what is going on there right now, but, you know, possibly we can clarify that a little bit later, but we will be waiting for that media briefing that Tony will be there for, and we'll hear from Madison Police a little more as to what they know so far about this situation.
Right, because right now, I mean, what we know is very limited, as much as most of you know, that all we know right now, a possible active shooter situation in Middleton near Greenway Station, near the 1800 block of Deming Way. And as you just heard Tony there, he has seen photographs of distraught employees, visitors, others, as he reports, coming out of the Paradigm, which of course is near that location. Tony claims it is a software company that is in that building. Again, a very large emergency response that is happening right now near the 1800 block of Deming Way, which is right by Greenway Station.
Okay. We're going to say goodbye. Oh.
Just one moment.
Okay. If you're watching right now, we are going to go back to your regularly scheduled programming and continue our coverage on Facebook Live. Again, we are awaiting a press briefing from Madison Police, and we will bring you live coverage of that on our 27 News Facebook page. You can, and on WKOW.com.
Tuesday morning. That's right. Well, to answer your first question, Danica, we did see people being moved out of the area. We spoke to a man who was walking in this area and told to move back. As far as businesses go, that owner did have people sheltering in place, but then that was lifted. So again, the situation is very active, but it doesn't appear that more businesses are being told to shelter in place. Things are kind of, you know, I think settling down. I think the police are getting a better handle as to what they're dealing with here.
You know, maybe somebody from management like Danny should call down and see if there's a value to him circling back and switching cameras with Bryce. Okay. Yeah, but we didn't have a chance to
5525.
5525.
Disregard, I'm just going to call you.
Okay.
01. 0403, I'm with 01 right now. He's at the command post. Go ahead.
So 1 to 03.
I'm going to get 05 out of here. I'm going to have him go to CV1 to meet with
I'm
you
right here, you guys.
and give you a quick briefing, but I want him out of here.
Yes.
10-4, and Hanson's in here as my second. But sure, I'll talk to him.
Just based on his involvement, I would just like him out. I think we need to
I've
remove
been
him.
really close to the more industrial side park of this area.
All right, get him to command post and we'll get him out of here.
Right now, I don't see any people there right now. I did see people peering out of the windows. Let me ask around and see if I can get that information for you.
Go ahead. Myself in 07 or 41. Where can we help? We are good in the inside at this point. Check in with 01 in the command post and CB1. Report 0601. 5502 to 5506. Go ahead. We have another 100 plus people here to identify residents in. I could take 2 or 3 cops here with notepads, big notepads, right in front of the residents in. 10-4 myself and 07 will be en route. Can we use your vehicle and see us one of the last down there? Copy. Sounds good. 10-4.
06, can you see me at the window before you go?
Just so I could...
Affirm.
That's right. I mean, it's gotten bigger since we got here. We got here fairly quickly. We were down near that roundabout, and then
media rallying point is dimming at market,
leading all the way up to here.
Thank you.
Other than ambulances, we have not seen any police or any other vehicles leaving the scene. We've only seen police cars entering the scene, more people gathering here, more people trying to figure out what went on, more officials, I should say. And then we have seen, as I said, 3 ambulances leaving. Susan, to answer your, here you can see a car, another Madison police truck coming in right now. So, and I don't know if you can capture this on video, Mark, but we are seeing, you know, large circles of authorities kind of congregating outside in this area, probably discussing what exactly the latest update is. And then, Susan, to answer your previous question, if these stores are on lockdown, I spoke to a gentleman. He said that he tried to get into the store about 5 minutes ago. He came down here to shop and was unable to get in. The door was locked. He said people were inside. So, you know, that was 5 minutes ago. This is changing a lot, but people are not, you know, walking into these stores and shopping right now. They're about 50 yards away from all of this.
I'm on IFB 85.
hear you talking to Josh.
There's a Middleton officer on station. Come to the window, please. $5501.
01.
Can you or O2 give me a 21, please?
Calling up.
Right, she'll be panning off when the time comes. Carolina, they're in a spot, but they're going to come back to us. That's a detective. Okay. Nick and Caroline, two Madison police detectives in their unmarked cars, just came through this police line here. Not only did they come through, one of those detective vehicles had a police dog, a canine, with that vehicle. So more assets are coming in here. You're also going to see some distance behind us on Deming Way, a software company called The Paradigm. And I have seen photographs that were taken a while ago this morning showing what were either distraught employees or visitors coming out of that building. An eyewitness has also told me that there was a stretcher at the building, although at Deming Way have confirmed whether there are any injuries. But as you have mentioned, this situation is being treated as an active shooter.
Do you need to do that radio switch over?
Knowledge of the active shooter's location, if that person is apprehended.
Based on the requested flat, let's just wait until they finish clearing, so it's going to be a little bit. I'll let you know.
More ambulances. There is a significant police presence at a software company here on Deming Way. Now, the entire area is cordoned off, and I believe we're going to be...
Are you still in contact with head maintenance?
Shortly. Greenway Station, destination, is right near us.
We would like him to meet us on the south side of the building, so if we encounter any issues, we can ask him questions. So have him meet us by, looks like a bunch of officers on the south side of the building, by the first story.
At a large public space like the Greenway Station Mall. But as you can see, there's law enforcement assets that remain here. We have seen no scaling back, and in fact, I think you're going to see in our camera through a police line.
0203, you want them at the back? Where suspect entered or someplace else?
Walking with an officer?
Not where he entered. We went on the south side, and I think there's a large contingent of officers by the Patrona ambulance. That's where he's
taken, I believe, to the Marriott Residence Inn, which is just a block away from us.
5502.
You're watching as police escort a group of people that emerged from behind the Hilton Garden Inn. But the main concentration...
We're getting a third-hand report that there may be somebody at the McDonald's that may be a witness. Do you know if anyone's made contact there?
Again, I have seen photographs of what
We have not yet. We still have several, at least 100 people here on ID.
Caroline and Nick?
Well, just to give you an idea of how big this is, I'm a little out of breath. I've been running, so at that Residence Inn, the people that were working in those buildings have been brought over there. Now, I spoke to a gentleman who works
02, just be advised over. Our information is that one has injuries but is refusing MS, and perhaps two witnesses with him or her.
In his office, and all of a sudden looked out his window and saw...
Copy. Do you have anybody available to go there?
Started to hear, mutterings of a shooter, but again, did not hear anything. I spoke to a woman who saw somebody being... saw a person being transported into an ambulance, and that person was being transported at the residence, near the Residence Inn. So we're kind of hearing that there was the situation here, but then people were running out to safety. People who had been shot have been running to safety and then taken by the ambulance. As far as cars moving around, it seems like this area near Greenway Station has opened up a bit.
Not an easy day. No, not for any.
I think people heard their loved ones or friends were in this
5532 to command.
Come here to kind of be there for support and try to figure out what exactly was going on. So we are seeing that traffic. I spoke to a number of people who said, yeah, we came to pick our friends up.
5533.
So I think police are trying to just control that traffic right now, but by no means has this area opened up to the public. Well, I think the police have done a really good job of keeping people back. I mean, where we are,
5528, are you on the air?
Close to these two buildings where the active shooter
temporary one.
So where we are
Can you make contact at the McDonald's? We're receiving third-hand information that there's a potential victim who's refusing EMS, but maybe two witnesses with him or her.
People out here saying, you know, what's going on? But that was a half hour ago. As we saw snipers, as we saw the FBI, as we saw Dane County, Madison, Middleton,
5532 to command.
People.
$5532 to dispatch.
5532.
I have Mayor Gurdeep here. I don't know if he's needed at command. Could you try to find out if he is, or if he can just disregard and go home? 509, can you copy? I'm in command.
5519, your radio is poor, but I copied at the command post. 5532, why don't you advise him that we'll give him a 21 if he's needed. I'm not aware that he's needed at the command post.
49 dispatch.
5519.
04 has been removed from the command post. I am with 01. The mayor does not need to be here.
Copy that.
It's 506 and 07 are at the CB.
Movement. 10-4.
Take Jeremy's shot.
Can they come to us? 09, go ahead. Where exactly do you want myself in 07? I believe 02 requested you in the parking lot of the residence inn. 10-4, bring notepads, multiple large notepads. 10-4.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting some people who may have worked in this building, may have worked in this kind of business park area of Middleton, and moving them out of the crime scene area. Right now they're working, or walking I should say, in Johnny's Italian Steakhouse parking lot. That's where they're headed right now. And I'm trying to keep an eye out for the gentleman who I know who works in the Paradigm building, although I don't see him at this moment. These people seem to be walking, you know, quite casually, quite coolly right now, so not under any duress at the moment, but there's probably 100 people that just walked by from, I'm not exactly sure even where they came from, but they just crossed that kind of roundabout there at Deming Way, just in front of the hotel here. And once again, they are walking into the parking lot at Johnny's Italian Steakhouse. Not quite sure where they're going.
01 to 03.
No one looks to be frantic or chaotic right now. Everyone seems to be rather casual and calm at the moment, which is a good sign that everyone seems to be under control right now, and they're just being moved along by police, it seems like, to maybe a different location in this area.
0301.
Obviously, we don't know what they're doing exactly.
01, I need the suspect's clothing. I'm told it was cut off by paramedics. Do you know where that is?
Police officers following them. We did have a police officer ask us if we had anyone from our staff at the Johnny's Steakhouse. I don't know why.
From what I can tell, it might still be at the location where he was down.
The steakhouse, it looks like.
And as you said, a lot of them on their cell phones.
Copy that. And are you or someone in a position to lead an agent to get that clothing?
Think about grabbing it probably, and thought I will touch base with loved ones.
I am not.
Safety. So
I'm still in the internal command. I don't know if there's somebody you have there that can meet with one of the officers outside and can escort them in.
Each one of them will be interviewed by police about what they heard, what they saw here today. They'll have to give some sort of statement about exactly what happened. And, as we said, my friend told me it sounds like it was someone who was who worked at that building. Not sure if that person was inside the building at the time, if they came from outside the building. Once again, all of these questions that we still have to figure out, and it's mind-boggling to think that this can happen. We talk about it all the time. It's never going to happen to you. It's never going to happen to you until it does. And authorities here have to be ready for situations like this, active shooter situations. And they certainly were here today. Dozens, if not 100, cop cars here today from the Dane County area.
Yeah, it was just a constant flow of law enforcement as we drove our 10 minutes down the road to get here. Let's take a look at what we're seeing right now. Here's a town of Madison paramedic vehicle leaving the scene. Again, we did see 2 rescue vehicles from Madison Police Department on scene earlier, and those were I've never seen a vehicle like that before.
Oh, the rescue one?
Yeah.
Hold on, go ahead.
Tactical vehicles like that get called in for situations like this, although it seemed like it wasn't under any kind of emergency at the moment.
5520 at the hospital, wondering if she needs to remain there or if someone's going to relieve her.
Now, what that means, we know that
she will be relieved, but she's away until DCI agent arrives.
We're expecting a news conference here any minute. There aren't any police or investigators here on scene. We've been told to meet in this parking lot to gather that new information. Kind of what I've been able to gather from witnesses right now is it happened in the WTS Paradigm building. That has not been confirmed yet, but I've spoken to many witnesses that either got calls from loved ones in there and they could hear the commotion in the background, and that's where we've seen hundreds of those witnesses or those bystanders coming out of the buildings. They've been gathering over at the Residence Inn, and right now they're keeping them away from media, so we've been unable to speak with them more about what happened. But we have had many bystanders around here trying to get to their family members because they heard of this happen. Either they've gotten a call, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I'll mention again if you're just joining us, is there was a mom down in Monroe. She said she'd received a call from her daughter who actually works in the WTS Paradigm building, and said that there was an active shooter situation underway and that she was okay at the time, but that call was very, very quick. She wasn't able to speak with her much, so she rushed up from Monroe to see what was going on, and yet we don't have any more information than what we've seen right now. Another man I spoke to earlier was out on his morning walk. He was on his way to Starbucks when he saw a gunshot victim actually make his way over from the WTS Paradigm building and actually plopped himself down on the sidewalk where medics were able to come up to him a little bit later on, and that's where a lot of the scene and a lot of the investigation has been down there. And then moments later, that's when he saw around 60 people walk out of the WTS Paradigm building, and then once we got to the scene, we saw around a couple hundred more come out of that building. So again, we're not learning a lot, but from what we've been gathering from witnesses is it happened probably most likely that WTS Paradigm building, but again, that has not been confirmed. We are standing by for police, no police or investigators here on the scene, but we will bring you that as soon as it becomes available. Back to you guys.
6528 at McDonald's.
10-4.
Oh, 3 to 01. 09, go ahead for him. A request to have an officer stationed at every single exterior door. I don't know if you have enough bodies, but we have a request to have every door secured by an officer just standing outside of the building. Therefore, I'll relay. I did that prior to touching base with the chief, made sure the whole perimeter was secured from the outside by the doors, other than officer. Perfect, thanks. 03 to 09. 09, I copied him. Additionally, if that DPI is looking to get in, you should come to the south side where we have the crime scene log being started by the Patrona ambulance. 10-4. Dispatch 28, the subject left. Where do you need me now?
To the residence inn, please.
And out.
Yeah, they're still on lockdown.
Yeah, I got a message. I wasn't sure. I think they said it was safe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They're still on lockdown.
From what we can gather, they're still on lockdown. That's what they just said in my ear. But there's been most witnesses have said that it's happened in the WTS Paradigm building. So that's what we kind of heard. But I'm assuming you kind of rushed down here after you heard the.
Well, I was over by Taco Bell, and then I sitting in the parking lot. I thought it was an accident. I heard all these cars and everything. And then I went over to McDonald's to go to the bathroom, and this lady was in there. And she was in the building. I don't know if she's still there. She had blood on her leg. And she said it was. I asked her if she got shot, and she said it was from the glass. So I don't know if she's still there.
What's that?
I don't know what they're doing back there. They'll have to kill the sound on that.
There's nothing, Colin. We have not seen one. Yeah, we have not seen one police officer come here, but all of the media is waiting here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Would I be able to ask you a couple questions on camera? Sure. Hey, Colin, I've got a witness here that we could get on camera if we want to take it. And what's your name? Come here. Come on. Yeah, guys, we're still here in the Tuesday morning parking lot. We're expecting a news conference any moment. Again, we have not seen police come here yet. But I've got Melissa here with us. And Melissa, you said you were actually in the area when this all happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of cop cars.
5509.
I thought it was a bad accident, but come to find out, I got this thing on my phone that said there was an active shooter in Middleton at a building. I went over to McDonald's, and there was a lady in there, and she had blood on her knee. She said, I asked her if she got shot, and she said, no, it was from the glass breaking from the window over there.
Was she able to say anything more than that, or?
No, she was like shaken up pretty good.
So you said that you've actually got kids in the Middleton School District?
Yes.
So are you kind of a worried parent kind of hanging around here wondering what's going on as well?
Yeah, the school was on lockdown, Middleton High School, Cromley.
46 out at the residence center.
Melissa, we thank you, and yeah, I'll give you any updates as far as the school lockdowns go on. So as you can mention, now that's two people that we've had that have seen somebody with blood on them that has been affected by that. Melissa said that she met that woman in the bathroom of the McDonald's parking lot, or the McDonald's rather, and had blood on her knee, and said that it was from the glass from that shooting. Earlier we had spoken to the witness that was out for a walk that had seen the gentleman walking over from WTS Paradigm with injuries, with blood actually dripping down, where that man was eventually sat down on the sidewalk, where medics eventually got to him, and that's where part of the investigation is going on. So again, we've seen two people now that have had some sort of injuries. Obviously, we've confirmed more than that, but a lot of people still standing by, wondering what's going on. As you can see, Melissa, she's got kids in the Middleton School District, wondering when she can get to them with that lockdown still going on. But again, guys, we are waiting for that news conference. Again, we have not heard any updates from police yet, but we're all standing by, and we'll bring you those updates as soon as they become available. So she said she was actually down, so we're in the Tuesday morning parking lot, so she would have been south here in the McDonald's parking lot. She said she was actually closer to the scene, but when she had gotten the notification, that's when police pushed everybody away, and she said she had to use the restroom, so she went to the McDonald's, which is just a couple blocks from here, and that's where she saw that woman with the blood dripping down that had been affected by the glass in that shooting.
Copy.
Okay. Yep. Okay, sounds good. I'll let you know. I'm just gonna mosey on over there and.
Cool. Here, I can grab. Are you gonna keep that? Or?
Yeah. Why don't you hold on to that?
Okay, cool. You want to
Got it.
Yep. Got it.
Still here, Tim?
Now I do. It cut out. Yeah.
5509, radio check, please.
5509, your radio's poor.
Yeah, we can hear you.
09, radio attached from the CD.
09, that's much better.
Hey, Jeremy. There he is. There's Jess right there.
Yes, thank you. Hey, Jeremy. There's Tim with his friend.
Where's Tim?
Right there. So do I just hold it down to get it on?
Tim, you stay here and you can walk back around. Stay here. And then press the button once and you don't hear anything. Just push it once.
black? Oh yeah, sorry.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Come back here. Come back here. They're gone.
What's the building called again?
Hey, Andy? Andy! Can you get a different IFE pack for her? The battery's
I got it. He got it.
5522.
5522.
High school's on lockdown. What other school?
Can you have O2 contact me at 6878?
Tell us, were you guys around the area when it happened? No.
5502.
Not too bad.
Can you contact 22 on his cell? I have the number if you need it.
Can you see it?
New information, Madison Police and multiple sources have told us there's going to be a press briefing soon at the Tuesday morning store that's part of Greenway Station in that area. You're taking a look at a map right now. The shooting incident happened at the Paradigm Software Company. That is just off of, you can see their university and the 1800 block of Deming Way.
Danica, we're still here in the Tuesday morning parking lot. This is where police told us to gather for that news conference around a half hour ago. Still no sign of police, but just within the last 2 minutes or so, we've seen some people actually getting escorted by police away from where those people were congregating at the Residence Inn. And I asked them if they could give us any updates. I'd heard him on the phone saying that he was around 20 yards away from what happened, and he said that he's unable to speak. Police told them not to tell anybody what had happened. So again, they're keeping pretty tight-lipped about that. We're waiting for police to confirm some details, but they made their way over from the WTS Paradigm building again, which we have not been able to confirm, but all of our leads from witnesses and those we've been able to speak to are kind of pushing us towards that direction. I just walked over towards the Residence Inn, and it looks like there's even more people gathering out there than what there was a few moments ago when we were there. So again, they're keeping pretty tight-lipped about this, telling witnesses not to tell anybody, to any of the media or family, as far as what had happened, some of those that were in those buildings at that time. Again, we're here in the Tuesday morning parking lot just waiting for police, which hopefully we can get those updates soon. I know they had told us to be here before noon, and we still have yet to have that happen. So if we get any more information, I'll be sure to pass that on to you guys. WTS Paradigm. Okay, yeah, we'll try our best here. Hi there, guys. Is there anything you can pass along to us at all?
I wasn't there when it happened.
You weren't there when it happened? Were any of you there? Or? Can you pass along any updates? We're trying to update our viewers.
It's stable now.
Stable?
Yeah. They said that the shooter.
The police said that? Okay, thank you. Hey, Colin, I can do an update here. as we spoke to you a couple minutes ago and said that people are starting to get broken away from that scene, I just spoke to a witness who was in the WTS Paradigm building when the shooting happened. Again, this is not confirmed by police, but this is coming from him, and they were able to leave the scene. Police told them that it is a stable situation. Again, we have not had this confirmed by investigators or police so far, but I was able to get a little information from a gentleman just a couple moments ago saying that the situation is stable and police have it under control. Again, they're keeping a pretty tight-lipped as far as what kind of information. From what it appears, it is a stable situation, but we are waiting for police to update us any moment. We're still here in the Tuesday morning parking lot. We'll bring you those updates as soon as they become available. Still a lot of people around here, a lot of parents kind of wondering, even like older parents, their adult children that work in there. Like we had mentioned that one mother that had driven up from Monroe wondering if her daughter was still okay. She had received that call a little earlier. So still developing some stories around here from those witnesses, and we'll bring you any new information as soon as I learn more. Still a very active scene out here. Guys, is there anything you can pass along to us as far as updates?
5509 dispatch.
5509.
Can you relay to 03? We are looking for the location of the suspects, 32, and if it's secured.
5503.
Yep, it is in here. Madison's also being asked the same question. It is secure, and we have an officer standing by the primary scene.
Copy. Oh, 09, did you copy 03?
09, copy.
Hi there, guys. So sorry to bother you. Is there anything you can pass along as far as updates?
That any suspects been apprehended?
I haven't heard any of it.
Okay. And have you heard from other people who were in the buildings?
Just from people in our building that heard some shots through the walls.
Okay.
We're next door to Paradigm.
Okay, and so it's happened at Paradigm?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that I'm sure of.
Okay, and did they say that, you know, that any injuries, did tell you any details like that? Okay, thank you for talking to me.
Sure.
O3 to CP. Go ahead, O3. If everybody's good, we can switch to the same channels as the Sheriff's Department in Madison, as it will probably be a prolonged event. Stand by. Stand by. Chief. Crew is everyone switching to channel. Silver, can you just broadcast which one that is so we can all make the switch?
Sir, I know you've been told not to talk to media. Have you been told anything about the status of the shooter?
I don't understand because I'm from Czech Republic and...
They say you're safe. Is the shooter still here?
09 dispatch.
Here, in time when I went after...
Okay. Sir, I know we're really busy. We're just trying to get an idea if there's still a shooter. Can we be told that? I think maybe just get that out to the public would be helpful at some point. Higher up? Okay.
Life inconvenience things are things that I can't.
We're just trying to get it confirmed if this suspect is in custody or apprehended, like if there's still...
07 to 09.
We put this all out, and I think I know, but I don't want to... What? Okay.
You work in the building that is next
to it.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what the past 2 hours have been like for you.
The past 2 hours, well, we were standing there and all of a sudden we heard all these squad cars just blaring coming in, and then we started hearing gunshots. And being on the second floor in the building next to Paradigm, we didn't know what was going on. We just saw these police officers running towards the building, and then hearing the gunshots. And then we had a few that went in the back stairwell and they saw blood on the ground. So we weren't informed, we weren't told. We were just standing there and we locked everything down, locked us in our little area on the second floor. And we were just, trying to contact family, find out what's going on, contact, our other business people, because we had no clue, and hearing the gunshots, it was scary.
Yeah, so what were your next steps then? Did police come and get in contact with you, or what were your next steps after you heard the shots?
Well, after we heard the shots, we locked our front door, and unfortunately, though, it's all glass, so we're like, it's not going to do any good. But yeah, we locked all the doors, made sure everything was secure. We kept everybody kind of enough back away from the windows so that, you know, in case there were more shots and stuff, not knowing where they were going or what's going on. And not sure how long it took effect, but all of a sudden, through our back stairwell, see, it's a secure building too. You can't get in without access. So the police officers finally came in. They came up the back stairwell and finally evacuated us and told us, you know, we came out with our arms up.
Okay, that's understandable.
There were still police officers, you know, pointing their guns and everything, and you know, you're like, okay, well, what's going on? You know, because we still weren't really told as to what's going on, what happened. You know, we're just being what our family were messaging to us. You know, so yeah, when we got evacuated, we were told where to go, and we just got released a little while ago. The police interviewed us to see if we saw anything, took pictures, and that's about it. But hearing the gunshots, that was, you know, the scariest thing in the world, and not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, what was going through your head when you heard those gunshots?
Basically contacting my family to make sure, you know, if they heard anything on the news, saying, okay, I'm in the building, I'm fine, you know, I'll let you know, when I find out more.
And when they evacuated you, at what point, or where did you go from that point?
When they evacuated us, we came through the back stairwell, which there was blood on the ground in the back, so that's even scarier to see. And we were evacuated to the hotel across the way, where we were all told to kind of stay back, out of sight. And then basically waited for the cops to let us know, but we were being told that even our building, we still cannot go in and we can't get our vehicles.
And remind me again where you work and kind of where your building is in relation to the building where this happened.
Okay, Paradigm is on the back side. I work in the Century Insurance building, which is more in front of it, and Paradigm is kind of adjacent to us. It's connected with us, but it's more on the back.
Okay, and how was everyone doing that you were with? You were with a large group of people. We saw you all walking across this way. Is that correct?
Yep.
You know, obviously a lot of concern.
Yeah, well, they went floor to floor evacuating us. You know, we saw people running out of the building. We're like, you know, should we be doing that? Should we not? You know, so we kind of waited for a bit for the police to come get us, because the way we saw them coming in, we knew that they were evacuating. Yeah, it was scary. You know, thoughts are running through your head that, you know, it's like, did they catch this person? Are we still safe coming out? You know, and then we checked on, we had a few coworkers that left. So we're just, you know, calling everybody and making sure that we're all together, that we account for everybody, and that our families are notified, you know, that we're okay. And, you know.
And you said that police asked you for any information that you might have. They asked if you had any pictures or videos. Was there any kind of future follow-up that they gave you?
No, basically they just said that, you know, buses, you know, that we can't get in the building, that the Paradigm building is going to be locked down for quite a few days, and that we can't take our vehicles, and that's about it.
Did they give you any information on the shooter or potential victims, anything like that?
No, we haven't really been briefed on any of that.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with people that I haven't asked?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for talking with me. We're so glad that you are okay. Again, you were with a group of about 100 people, was it? Or how
Actually,
many?
my company is just on the second floor, and we're only about 30 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not a very big group that I was with.
Okay.
Century Insurance has the 4th and 3rd floor, so they're the biggest part of the company.
Were all of you brought together, though? I saw that big group of people walking across us behind here. It seemed like about 100, and then just right over by the Residence Inn, there was a big group. Were all of the different buildings grouped together, the people inside?
Well, see, there's another building on the back side, too.
Okay.
So I think everybody was kind of, because of the large amount of people, we were kind of designated in different areas. We were told to go to the hotel.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
I've got quite a few officers here that are freed up from doing interviews.
Just speaking
Do we
there
need
with a
them
witness
anywhere
who
right now?
says she heard the gunshots this morning. She was in a building next door. She saw
Middleton
blood
officers
outside.
or what
We're taking
department?
a live look from our NBC affiliate Milwaukee. A live look from the parking lot from above the Paradigm software company parking lot where this incident happened this morning.
And as we heard from Megan, too, that authorities are out searching vehicles at this point, and you can see them doing that right now.
as they move through the parking lot here, again, just outside the Paradigm building, which is in the 1800 block of Happeningwatch, a very busy area of Middleton, a lot of shopping, a lot of restaurants. You know, this happened, original call came in at 10:25 this morning, so just as everybody's getting out and getting their shopping errands going, this all happened as well.
Yes, and a witness inside the Paradigm building at the time of this incident, as we're taking a live look from above, a helicopter view of people walking and police searching cars there. A witness told our NBC 15's Tim Elliott that he was inside the building when someone came in to open fire. A co-worker, he said, the witness told our reporter, walked in to open fire and hit multiple people, 3 to 4 people. What we're told is 4 people are being treated right now at UW Hospital, the trauma center.
Yeah, and also from UW, they have confirmed they have activated their control center protocol, and that is a standard operating procedure when anything of this magnitude happens. That means they have doctors, nurses, any type of emergency personnel on standby in case more victims are to come into the hospital there.
You know, I think this is, you can tell just the magnitude of this situation. It's hitting home. These are people we know. These are people we work with. This is shortly just a quick drive from our NBC 15 studios as we take a live look. You know, one of the people inside the building even knew our reporter. I mean, I think these national sort of stories happen and start to hit even closer to home. You think it never can happen here. We hear it time and time again from people we interview on different stories. It's never going to happen here, but indeed it did this morning. We want to just give you a quick recap. I understand that NBC 15's John Stofflet has just made it to the newsroom, so he will relieve me from reporting. We've been reporting since 11 this morning. The call came in at 10:25. But we've been in continuous coverage since.
Hannah, I want to point out, I've been watching you since you've been on the air this morning. I was at home when this all unfolded. And the one thing I love that you said to reassure the community here is that our emergency personnel jumped into action immediately. We heard Megan Rice said, we heard Tim Elliott describe how our newsroom was sitting around the morning news table talking about the news day, what stories we were going to be covering when they saw multiple, I mean, a dozen or so squad cars go flying down the belt line, and you know, they were on scene almost instantaneously. And so, again, to offer some comfort, we never want to see anything like this happen, but our men and women in uniform right now are working very hard to keep everybody as safe as possible. So I thought that was one thing, you know, to offer that peace of mind to our viewers. It was a great piece that you gave.
Thank you, Amy. I think, as we take a look at the map of where this is actually happening, the scene is contained right now, but like Amy mentioned this morning, we also jumped into action to report the facts as soon as we could. It happened at Paradigm this morning, a software company just off of University Avenue there, 1800 block of Deming Way. 10:25, a weapons violation call came in. We know witnesses report a person opened fire inside that software company, hit 3 to 4 people, according to that witness. We have confirmed they are at UW Hospital, the trauma hospital in Madison. Middleton is about 17,000 to 20,000 people, a suburb of Madison. If you're just joining us right now, 1242.
DCI is advising Middleton can
this is not just a story.
stand down for now. They're trying to take over everything.
These are our lives, and these are impacting people we love and we know in our community, and we are going to do our best and to get all of that information as soon as possible to you. Our coverage will not stop in this case, in this situation, in our community. That's what we do as journalists. That's why we're here. We are truth seekers, and we will find all this information. Also, a press briefing will be coming soon. It's going to be happening at the Tuesday Morning Store, from what we understand. We're standing by.
Yeah, we just into our newsroom, too. We have some new witness sound from a much younger witness, I'm being told, so we're going to toss over to that and take a listen.
Didn't know what to think. It's just crazy. It's insane. Like, I don't know why it keeps happening.
Again, a lot of raw emotion today. Everybody handling it a little bit differently. We saw some very, we heard, I should say, we heard a victim or witness or somebody on scene. We're not sure how this person was tied to all of this, but the shrieks, the cries, you see people that aren't sure how to process this, where it's almost like shock like that young man right there, and it is very difficult. And the big thing again is people are asking why, why aren't we giving more information? Well, we are standing by for that press briefing, and we will carry it live. I know you just said that right before that interview from that young man, but that's the one thing everybody is reaching out to us on Facebook. They want to know more. You want more information. Well, we are prepared to bring that to you once authorities release it.
Yes, so we are going to continue our coverage. My time here will be ending. John Stofflet will be coming in right in just a few moments, but again, our coverage will continue. It is not stopping. Stay with us and stay with our NBC15.com and our mobile app. We're going to send it out to NBC15's Tim Elliott. From what we understand, he was first at the scene this morning from our crew. Tim, what can you tell us?
Station are being loaded onto buses right there in the distance. I don't know if you can see them out there, but one company, at least one company, was instructed to not speak to the media here this morning, but the rest of those people, I believe, are being bused to where they can access their vehicles on the other side of the parking lot, because this whole area is closed off with crime scene tape. Not many people can get through to where they need to get through right now. We've been seeing witnesses, too, who may have been inside that Paradigm building or businesses nearby trickling out from the Residence Inn over here. They've been allowed to access their vehicles or possibly be picked up by loved ones or friends over here at the Greenway Station area. So this is a very fluid, active situation. We're hearing from these people what they heard, what they saw this morning when they showed up here on the scene. And some of these people right here, probably walking right here behind me, that were inside the building at the time, and just, you can't imagine what they heard and what they saw inside that building. Once again, you kind of alluded to it, that I was one of the first people here on the scene as far as reporters go. As soon as I showed up on the scene, I saw that it took place at the Paradigm building, which is a software company here in Middleton. I have a friend who works there. My thoughts immediately went with him, and as soon as I thought that,
so
I heard my name yelled from across the...
And all of a sudden somebody said, oh, well, it's noon already. And it's like, last thing we know, it was morning, and all of a sudden it's like noon. So it just kind of really went fast, even though it was, for a good length of time. But yeah, on the back stairwell of our building.
Was it a lot of blood? Describe the blood that you saw.
It was just like splattered all on the ground.
When you heard a gunshot, did you believe it was a gunshot, or what did you think it was?
Oh, scared, nervous, not knowing what's going on, what to expect. Is it one person, 2 people? Is it, an employee mad, going off on somebody else?
What did police tell you? Did they say that you are safe now? Did they say that the suspect has been apprehended? What have they updated you with?
Nothing.
Is that frustrating?
Oh, yeah, very frustrating. It's like, because I'm getting all these newscasts from my parents or from my mom and, from family and friends all concerned, and I'm like, okay, what do I believe? What do I not believe? Not knowing what's going on. Yeah, it's scary.
Did your company ever have an active shooter drill? Did you anticipate this, or could you expect it? Did you know what to do?
No, not at this building. We used to work in Monona, which we had the Monona Bank in the bottom, which did have a robbery when we were there. So we were kind of on board, we knew kind of what to do then. But at this building, we took for granted, not having a bank there, that we didn't, think we had to ever worry.
What was the reaction of other coworkers? I mean, you seem pretty calm, but were other people frightened?
Well, we were all getting ready to leave because we had a baby shower to go to for lunch. And so we were just making sure. We had a few coworkers that did leave to take off for it, to get ready. And so we're like immediately contacting the coworkers, making sure that everyone stayed in, away from the windows, and what's going on. Contacting family to make sure that they know we're okay. Contacting our mother company to let them know so they can notify all of our people, that, we're okay. Don't know what's going on, but we locked our, front door, and that we're going to stay there until we're evacuated.
Did you see any of the victims of the shooter?
We saw one person that was really bloodied being escorted out to one of the ambulances, but otherwise, no, we didn't see. We just saw the police officers, storming towards the building, and that's about it.
And can you remind me of your name and where you work?
Marlene Meekum, and I work in the Century Insurance Building, which is front of Paradigm on the second floor.
And we see stuff like this in the news all the time. Did you ever think there'd be anything happening here in Middleton?
I'm always scared of hearing about schools, you know, because I've still got kids in school, so I'm always scared about schools. Never a business, you know, never think about it. I know I used to work at Oscar Mayer, and we did have an employee that was coming back to do shooting, but you know, you hate to say it, but he had a heart attack on his way back, and his vehicle was full of guns. So I mean, I've kind of, you know, had a little bit of experience, but nothing where, you know, locked down, all these police out there not knowing what's going on. No.
You know, we're hearing 4 people were shot in this situation. What words do you have for them? I know you don't know them, but...
Oh, my heart goes out to them, and I hope that, you know, they get a full recovery, and that, you know, get therapy, talk to somebody, tell them exactly how you feel, and just, you know, don't hold anything back. It's something that, you know, you can have nightmares for.
Marlene, can we get your last name one more time?
Meekum, M-E-C-U-M.
M-E-C-U-M. IMED Corporation.
Yep.
Engineering assistant.
Yep.
Thank you, Marlene.
Okay, thank you.
And there, I don't know if we're still on air right now, but that was Marlene Meekum. She was working in the business adjacent to where the shooting happened. She sheltered in place. Once they were able to move, she did see blood. She did see one person bloodied and moving into an ambulance. She said that she thinks about schools all the time. She never thought it would be happening in a business. She never thought it would be happening in Middleton.
Affirm.
She said multiple. It sounded like several. She did not give an exact number, Susan, but enough for her and her coworkers to decide, okay, let's close the doors, let's make sure we're away from the windows, let's shelter in place until we know more. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they handled it the best they could given the situation, and as you saw, remarkably calm, but she gave kind of a word to the people that we know are at the hospital right now who weren't so lucky, and she just gave their love to them and told them, you know, to talk to somebody about this. Don't, you know, try to keep in what you saw, discuss it, and try to heal that way.
I don't know if that has to do with the fact that they haven't been getting any updates, but I'd say there's probably only around the half the people that were here, just about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Again, they're keeping pretty tight-lipped. I was able to speak to one woman. She says that she works at the Esker software company. We talked to another woman earlier on in the broadcast here, and she said that they didn't hear anything inside that software. They were just told pretty quickly to gather in the cafeteria, and everyone was wondering why. They didn't hear anything. There was no commotion, so people were getting a little nervous about what was going on, and eventually when they had heard the news, they were shocked to hear that that happened where they work. So again, we're at the DSW, or actually out in front of the Michaels store here in Greenway Station, where police have told these witnesses and bystanders to gather for the time being. We have been waiting for that update from police. They told us probably over an hour and a half ago now that they were going to be meeting at the Tuesday morning parking lot to provide that update to us, but we have still yet to get that information. So again, you can see a small number of people still gathered here waiting for police to give them the all clear to go home. These were the people that were out in front of the Residence Inn hotel that we were at earlier, where at that time there was probably, I'd guesstimate around 300 people that were there. So again, we're still waiting here in the Greenway Station parking lot, waiting for an update from police, but that's what we know right now, and if we have any new information, we'll be sure to pass that along to you. Thanks, Colin. We shouldn't move locations.
How big?
We're going to bring in Adam here if you want to come back to us.
Yeah. Yeah, going. You can get food at Madison. Food in.
Yeah, you guys, I'm actually going to bring in News 3's Adam Duxter. He's been busy kind of working the scene himself, trying to talk to witness. Adam, what are you kind of hearing from folks?
Well, I started today on the other side of the scene as where we are right now. So we kind of came in the opposite direction on Deming Way, a little bit, I believe that's north of where Esker is, the company right there. When I got there, police were already interviewing witnesses, so people were not really saying all too much, but then they sent basically everyone that was Esker, which we were told they were in lockdown for upwards of an hour, is what employees were telling me. They sent kind of all of us down Deming Way, closer to the mall here, and I've been kind of following those packs of people from Esker as we've moved kind of from place to place to place, seemingly like temporary checkpoints as we kind of keep moving along. But that's where we ended up right now, outside of this Michaels and this DSW in this parking lot. From what I've heard from people, they're free to go home if they have a way to get home. The unfortunate thing is we've been told, or I've been told rather, from employees that that parking lot, they're going through car to car. So if they have their keys but their car's in the parking lot, they're not able to leave. So that's why we've got people here kind of still milling around. They're kind of without a place to go, but I've already talked to some people that live near here, and they're making their way out. If they've had people that can come and pick them up, take them home, they've been doing just that. But yeah, kind of working our way down Deming Way to the mall here, but that's kind of all I know at this point. Most people are talking to police and trying to get firsthand accounts of what's happening.
And Adam, you were kind of telling me, and I've kind of had the same experience, people were actually coming up to us asking if we know any information. Some of these people that were actually told to go in lockdown didn't have a lot of information, so they don't have a lot to pass along. They're asking for information from us.
Well, yeah, and there's people out here with laptops open, trying to connect to the internet to see what's the latest as what's happened. As in any situation like this, you're trying to get the most accurate, up-to-date details, and when you've got people like this milling around in a parking lot, standing around wondering what's happening, it's easy for word to spread, and I think it's really easy for false information to spread as well. So people trying to, get as much accurate information as they can, and that's at that point where I've been just kind of going around trying to see what people know, but also telling them what I know, and I think people are really have been appreciative of that, just trying to get up to date. Everyone's concerned, this is a big deal, and people are trying to figure out what happened. So I think that's kind of what I've been doing, is just trying to figure out what people know, but also trying to tell them what we know at this point, just so that accurate information can get out there.
And that's why we're here, and we were talking earlier, it's kind of that tough thing as a reporter to have to be out here and talk to these people when they're in their most fragile position, because it does hit very close to home. A lot of these people are very hysterical, not able to get a hold of their family members, and that's kind of what we've been seeing.
Absolutely, Josh. Make no mistake, this is not a happy moment for anyone, including you or I, and I think that's what people are just really shaken right now. So that's been a balance of trying to respect everyone who's in a serious moment, but also trying to figure out what happened and then also convey what happened. So many people today very obviously shaken up. This is a very scary situation, but at this point where we're at, everyone's safe, and I think that's the biggest thing to focus on, is everyone over here is safe. They've made it out, and we're just trying to get everyone on the same page.
All right, well, the anchors want to ask you a question. He's not on IFB, but I can relay the question to them. So they're wondering if any of the witnesses that you've been able to speak with have mentioned anything about blood, any injuries as far as that. I know I've spoken to a couple that have seen that. Anything on your take?
The biggest thing we've heard from people in the Esker building at this point is that if they were close enough to the wall, they might have heard shots. But that was, as we know right now, not the building where anything else was involved. Again, police are taking everyone's accounts, but what I've heard just from talking to people firsthand is some people near the edge of the office heard shots, but that's all we know at this point.
And that would kind of go along with a couple of the witnesses I've spoken to that were actually in the Esker building that said they actually didn't hear anything. So if they were in a certain part of that building and were asked to go to the cafeteria saying there was an active shooter in the building or the adjacent building, not really knowing what to expect, not knowing what's going on, and everyone kind of gathering, waiting for that update, and kind of that patiently waiting, which is always tough in a situation like this.
I think patience is really a big key component of this as well, because everyone is trying to get in contact with loved ones, trying to figure out what happened, trying to touch base with everyone. And even earlier when we were in the hotel parking lot, it was a boss who was relaying information. I believe it was a boss from Esther who kind of stood above and just kind of shouted and said, hey, here's where we're at, here's the latest information. So again, patience in this aspect of relaying information is kind of where we're at right now, because everyone is on the same page. You know, they're trying to figure out what happened, they're trying to figure out when they can get home, all of that. So again, patience is a big deal out here, but I believe everyone I've talked to is advising that the lockdown has been released. Incredibly understanding of our situation and of the situation at hand at this point. So I think everyone at this point just kind of wants to get back to safety or wherever they feel they should be.
And kind of like what Adam was mentioning earlier, a lot of these people are unable to get to their cars because it's a crime scene. And obviously there's only, less than 10 people out here right now. We've seen many cars, I'm guessing loved ones and friends coming to pick up people there in that area because obviously they can't get to their vehicles. Police were telling people to come meet here. That's as far as what we could gather from witnesses. But police did tell them that it was a stable situation, which we already have confirmed. So at least they were able to get a little bit of peace of mind.
And at this point, too, once you know it is a stable situation, it's getting people away from the scene so you can kind of start to figure out a little bit more what happened. You're trying to sort through people, and even since I've showed up here, there has been people just kind of coming up, like people that weren't involved in the situation but coming up trying to get an idea of what's going on. And I've kind of gotten a clear idea that police are trying to sort out anyone who is not supposed to be here, if that makes sense. So people coming in just to take pictures or video, or they see it on the news and they come here and they want to see it firsthand. It seems like police are starting to try and clear out all of those types of people, or anyone who can get out of here. They're trying to get out of here so they can deal with the situation at hand.
We appreciate that information, and we'll be sure to bring you any information as soon as we learn it. We're still kind of speaking with witnesses in the area. Obviously, that number kind of diminishing now, but Susan and Danica, we'll send it back to you ladies.
Copy, your radio is poor, but I copied all tactical operations are complete now. Lockdown's been lifted per 01.
CP. Go ahead, 06. If it's relevant to investigators, there's some blood that's located in the grass off the bike path on the south side of the business. It's been marked with a cone by 2-1. You
want me to run and grab it? I can try.
Outside of which business? Sorry, south side of the incident location. Like that. You and step down, I copied south side of the incident business. I will relay it.
Was there another unit calling?
what's going on, reassure people. I did just get off the phone with someone from the Dane County Witness and Victim Unit. They work with people who have gone through traumatic things. She said immediately they sent a crew out here to meet with people. Understandably, people are very shooken up, and this will be a process for many that they'll have to work through. So they did reassure me over at that unit that they sent counselors out here immediately. She said they've been out here for a couple of hours talking with people, talking through this, helping them stay calm and understand what's going on. So again, we're going to stay on standby out here awaiting any updates, but a lot of the people who work in this whole area at several of these buildings, it's not just that building that was locked down or evacuated, a lot of them have left. I know a lot of the buildings over next door in Greenway Station have been shut down. They've been locked. Customers, I saw customers waiting outside, waiting to get inside, and we're told that the store is just closed until further notice. So again, we're going to be on standby waiting for that press conference with any updates, but for now, I will send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Hannah Flood. As we were watching Hannah behind her as she was addressing the camera, we could see on the roof as the camera zoomed in that one of the officers stationed on the roof with a rifle to provide protection from above was lowering that rifle to a colleague. So that would at least symbolize, you would imagine, that they are coming down from the roof and things are much calmer now. You can judge the body language from these officers. If we have the photos, I'll give you a minute to find them in the control room, that the person sent in, the viewer sent in, of the officers approaching the building. That's it. Obvious body language, quite different from what it was about the time later. You know, you can just tell anybody going into that situation would be trying to, you know, fearing for their lives, fearing for the lives of others, and certainly prepared for anything that might come their way. Then we watched as the situation, no doubt they were told, as they are through communication, when a threat is neutralized, you saw body language relax a bit, and officers standing around guarding perimeters and so forth. But obviously at that...
We're going to do an update now. They're not going to take any questions at this time, but then we'll come back at 4 o'clock for another update.
Hi, I'm Chief Charles Falk of the Middleton Police Department, and again, Sheriff Dave Mahoney from Dane County Sheriff's Department is with me. As she said, we're just going to give a brief statement now. We'll be back at 4 p.m. to give an update, but here's what we know right now. At 10:25 a.m., Police Department was notified of an active shooter at 1850 Deming Way. And there's a number of businesses in that building, but the specific business was WTS Paradigm. Again, WTS Paradigm.
5544.
We know that 3 people were injured and are being treated at local hospitals for gunshot wounds. Officers who responded engaged the suspect. He was shot by officers, and he is also at a local hospital. The building, within the last couple of minutes, was cleared and is declared safe. There are no other suspects, and the public is no longer in danger. All lockdowns have been lifted. Middleton Police Department, along with Dane County Sheriff's Department, Madison Police, Division of Criminal Investigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the ATF are all here working and assisting us. We're working on setting up a meeting place for families, which we've determined to be the Marriott Hotel. It'll be a family reunification locations. And we are now actively interviewing a number of witnesses at an undisclosed location. So right now, as you can imagine, we're quite busy. I know you have a million questions, and so do I, and I don't know those answers. But the main thing we can say right now is the suspect was neutralized, is at a hospital, and that the public is no longer in danger from this incident. Thank you. Back at 4. And we'll let you know where that will be. And I'd ask you to follow Middleton PD Twitter or Dane County Sheriff Twitter. We'll give any updates, but especially where the next press conference will be.
Spell your name, Chief?
Foulke.
Do you know the condition of the victims at all?
Again, I'm not going to answer questions, so thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
You got it.
past 10:25 this morning. There were several businesses in the building, but the business specifically affected is the business we've been talking to you about and observing all morning, and that's WTS Paradigm, a software company here under Hemingway. Chief Folk relating that arriving, responding officers were able to neutralize the threat by shooting and wounding the shooting suspect. He also reported that 3 individuals were shot and wounded and are receiving treatment as we speak, and also the shooting suspect being treated at a hospital. Chief Folk also talked about the fact that they have now been able to clear the building. Referenced the fact that there was the active shooter situation just past 10:25 this morning. There were several businesses in the building, but the business specifically affected is the business we've been talking to you about and observing all morning, and that's WTS Paradigm, a software company here on Deming Way. Chief Folk relating that arriving, responding officers were able to neutralize the threat by shooting and wounding the shooting suspect. He also reported that 3 individuals were shot and wounded and are receiving treatment as we speak, and also the shooting suspect being treated at a hospital. Chief Folk also talked about the fact that they have now been able to clear the building, WTS Paradigm, in clearing that building and declaring it safe. They're working on a debriefing and a reunification of people, employees, and others who were in that building with their loved ones at an undisclosed location. Obviously, an incredibly traumatic experience here this morning. We did talk to an eyewitness from an adjacent building. She told us that she heard the gunshots. They looked out a window, they saw blood, and they saw arriving, responding officers, and they sheltered in place as best they could. They locked the doors of their adjacent building and gathered as a unit inside that building. Some others on other floors ran out of the building.
It's the spike.
But this was extremely tense here earlier this morning. But Chief Folk of the Middleton Police Department telling us moments ago.
The perimeter still remains up right now, Susan, but we just got done with that news conference. Middleton Police Chief Falk and Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney, both there. Falk told us that there was a active shooter inside that WTS Paradigm building around 10:30 this morning. 3 people were shot by that person. That shooter, though, quote unquote, neutralized. He was shot. He's also being treated at a local hospital right now. The people that were inside those buildings, these 2, including where the shooting happened, have been evacuated. Both those buildings clear right now. Police working really hard to get all of those folks reunited with their family.
Yeah, so we're all together now.
That's right. I mean, they did not let us ask any questions at the press conference. They gave us their 2-minute update and they went back on their way. They are still trying to gather the details as to what exactly happened here. I'm sure they're looking into a motive. I'm sure they're looking into any and all aspects of what happened here today. So this situation in this area right here, Deming Way, still very active as far as the investigation. But again, no threat to the public right now, as that active shooter has been neutralized, shot by authorities, taken to the hospital for treatment. Thanks for watching.
Crazy.